And joining us now is Robert Baer, one of the most accomplished agents in CIA history and the winner of the Career Intelligence Medal. He's the author of 4 New York Times bestsellers, including Sleeping with the Devil, How Washington Sold Our Soul for Saudi Crude, and he's considered one of the world's foremost authorities on the Middle East and is an intelligence and national security affairs analyst for CNN. And his latest book is The Fourth Man, The Hunt for a KGB Spy at the Top of the CIA and the Rise of Putin's Russia. Welcome to Background Briefing, Robert Baer.
Thanks, Ian.
So you've been dealing with classified information for all your career, Bob. And so how does it strike you what we're learning about what was stored down in Mar-a-Lago and from the search warrant, particularly the 3 violations of U.S. Code 793, which is transmitting of classified defense information, U.S. Code 2071, concealment, mutilation, removal of classified documents, and USC 1519, the destruction of classified documents?
Well, first of all, it's the stuff that he's gotten, is taken home unguarded, is TSSCI, to be technical. And the day I got in the CIA, which is in the 70s, a long time ago, it was drummed into our head that this SCI, Specially Compartmented Intelligence, taking it home, talking about it, paraphrasing it, using it in any manner, talking about it on the phone with colleagues on unsecure lines, was a felony. It was a jailable offense. There's no doubt about it. Now, Trump, since then, has made mishandling classified information a felony. So he has flat out committed a felony by his own definition. Now, yes, Hillary Clinton's people did summarize some intelligence on unclassified servers, but it's not the same thing. This is very black and white, the law. Until this day, Ian, I cannot talk to you about, for instance, code breaking, which is covered under SCI. Like, if we had Monte Carlo's phones, or it's diplomatic communications broken. If I talk to you about this on this line or anybody else, it's a jailable offense. And that was beat into my head. And so he has committed a felony. Now, the question is he above the law? And that's to be seen.
But the other question, in fact, the biggest question of all, surely, Bob, is why did he do this? What was the purpose of squirreling away all this top secret information? This is a man who had contempt for the intelligence briefers. He never bothered with the presidential daily briefing. He wasn't interested. And yet suddenly when he's leaving office, he has a lot of interest and he squirrels away all kinds of documents. And as far as I know, the methodology was that he was for months preparing this stuff, particularly after he lost the election in the interregnum between then in November and January of 2021. It looks as if he prepared a cache of stuff, cherry-picked what he really wanted, and as far as I can tell, the motive was he wanted to monetize these secrets. I mean, what else? Why else? This is a guy with no intellectual curiosity. He wasn't taking stuff home because he thought it was interesting, but I think it has to be another motive. And the only other one that I can think of is he wanted to monetize this stuff or give it to his friend Vladimir or Mohammed bin Salman.
Oh, I think absolutely. I mean, these documents, you could never get them cleared to write a memoir, for instance. And you're right, he has no interest in the subject matter. I mean, that has been established. He himself has admitted that he doesn't read. So it wasn't some burning curiosity. And, monetize it. Yes, he can have visitors down to Mar-a-Lago and Mohammed bin Salman maybe one day, and show Mohammed bin Salman how we collect intelligence on Saudi Arabia, which is, frankly, from what I know, is all intercept top secret stuff of some sort. And then they get to defend themselves. Mohammed bin Salman, for instance, would know just how strong the case was against him for chopping up with a bone saw a dissident named Khashoggi. Or there's simple blackmail, because the National Security Agency from time to time will pick up leaders talking to American leaders, like a senator or Nancy Pelosi. And if there's some sort of blackmail that he intended to use against his opponents or journalists, this stuff is just scooped up by the National Security Agency and is shown to the president, is unmasked, or somebody verbally will tell him. So there is no good motivation for squirreling this stuff away. And he knew full well it was supposed to go to the National Archives. So beyond that, when the president is given a top secret report, or like from the CIA, it's called a blue striper, it's never left with him for that very purpose. It's sort of like the president eyes only. So if he was making copies of this stuff, which is appearing in the press, it was for some sinister motive. Now the question is, of course, does he have a controller? And we don't know that. I mean, did he intend to give this stuff to Putin next time he sees him? That's sheer speculation. It doesn't do us any good to even wonder about it. But it goes back to his committing a felony, which he's now admitted, and will this Department of Justice stand up to it? And as we've talked about, he has put the lives of FBI agents in danger by, sending the unredacted warrants and receipts around. It's on the internet.
Well, send it to Breitbart.
It's on Telegram now. And with those names, you can find the houses and family members of the FBI agents. So they're going to have to be put under protection or moved. I mean, this is endangering federal agents is also against the law. It's,
Right.
Protected Identities Act, I think it's called. And they were protected because they're redacted. So he's violated a second law there. His lawyers have. Now, what's going to happen when one of these FBI agents is murdered? Is he going to get away with this? Is this a full-on attack on law enforcement? This is just Ian.
Well, it's not just the law enforcement.
He's got to go to jail.
Right. It's not just law enforcement, because he's also threatening the judge. And Fox News have put pictures of the judge up on their screens. And we already had an incident on Wednesday of a character who was inspired by Trump and the Republicans' outrage over what happened with the document seizure at Mar-a-Lago. He went to the FBI office in Cincinnati with a nail gun. He tried to use the nail gun to smash through the bulletproof glass, and then he had an AR-15, and he had a car chase, shootout with the Ohio State Police, and then eventually was cornered in a cornfield and shot. And he's been on Truth Social, Trump's website, a regular visitor, and he's also been in chat rooms with Marjorie Taylor Greene. And he also was at January the 6th, the insurrection. So Trump, in effect, isn't he sicking the insurrectionists on the FBI and on the judge?
He is inciting violence. And by the way, one way to get through bulletproof glass, rather than shooting it, is cracking it open with a nail gun. It may seem silly to a lot of people, but there are vulnerabilities. Anyhow, yes, he's sicking. He's inciting violence against police officers, against the FBI, and that's what they are, police officers. Or any attacks on the federal government. He is doing this. He is trying to start a civil war. I mean, this is not hypothetical. It's happening in front of our eyes. I'm not saying this could be a civil war, but he's certainly trying to start one.
And again, I'm speaking of Robert Baer, one of the most accomplished agents in CIA history and the winner of the Career Intelligence Medal. He's the author of 4 New York Times bestsellers, including Sleeping with the Devil, How Washington Sold Our Soul for Saudi Crude. And he's considered one of the world's foremost authorities on the Middle East and is an intelligence and national security affairs analyst for CNN. And his latest book is The Fourth Man, The Hunt for a KGB Spy at the Top of the CIA and the Rise of Putin's Russia. So I know, Bob, you believe that this man is not just a a criminal but a traitor, and I certainly believe it, and I've really studied as hard, and you have, and you've got some pretty good sources both here and in Russia. I've also talked to Peter Strzok, who has written about it, about what a danger Trump is, and he's a counterintelligence officer. And the truth of the matter is, the real file on Trump and all of his criminality and treason are in the counterintelligence files, which can't be made public because of their sensitivity of sources and methods. So when is this guy going to be stopped? I mean, he should have been stopped in the 1980s after his visit to the Soviet Union on July the 4th of 1987. He should have been stopped in the 90s with all the money laundering, and in the 80s all the Russian money laundering, and throughout his entire career. And then in 2016, for some reason or other, the Democrats dropped the ball, and particularly Hillary Clinton. They never released to the public everything he knew. Obama had the whole file on what Putin was up to, and it wasn't from that much ballyhooed Steele dossier. It actually came from a human source that the CIA had inside the Kremlin, who gave them the actual information, which Obama had, of how Putin was helping Trump and hurting Hillary. And McConnell and Paul Ryan refused to sign off on releasing that information to the public. I mean, this is a whole story of how this guy's been one step ahead of the sheriff. And for God's sake, what's wrong with us? Why can't we, one, recognize who he is when he's so damn flagrant, and two, hold him to account?
Well, no, I mean, look, the insurrection on the 6th of January, the public record's there. He incited these people in so many words. His allegiance to Putin was, in no doubt, when he went to Helsinki and said, I trust Putin more than I do my own intelligence community. He basically stated that his loyalties are with Russia. The problem with espionage laws and the rest of it is you need a smoking gun. That's very clear to me after I did this book. You need a smoking gun. They just will not take human sources, hearsay, money laundering, and take it to court. They can't. They've just decided they cannot get this through a jury and get a conviction. You can't take a president, no matter what the FBI believes. And if Strzok says that he is a spy and disloyal, he said in so many words, I trust him. They look at this evidence, but they also go to the prosecutors in the Eastern District and they say, can we get a conviction on this? And the prosecutors say no under American espionage laws. Even if the totality of evidence suggests his loyalties lie in Moscow, and Trump has said that's where his loyalties are. So, I mean, it's like, I'm not saying anything original here. You can't do anything about it. And the Russians have learned that you pay your assets, whether it's the people that force Brexit or wherever, you pay through proxies, or you pay through sweetheart deals in Russia, or you pay in oil trades, discounts. They understand this. You're never going to see a picture of Donald Trump handing over documents to a Russian intelligence officer or taking money, because that's not the way Russians do business anymore. They figured that out in the Cold War. It doesn't work. You pay. There's a lot of ways to pay proxies, and then the proxies pay whoever, and it's all understood. And there's no secret communications, and you don't need, if you're loyal to Russia, as Putin is, as Trump says he is. You don't have some sort of coded messages you're sending back and forth. Russians wouldn't even think about it. So that's the problem. You've got a liberal democracy with very strict laws of who can be prosecuted and who can't.
But there's this stuff though that the FBI found in Mar-a-Lago. Do you think it might cross the threshold? I mean, it's obvious that
it's crossed the threshold. It's a jailable offense, taking SCI out. The question is, does Biden have the nerve to indict him? And he's very indictable. I mean, look, Petraeus did it. He was resurrected. Sandy Berger took documents, but nothing like what Trump. I mean, they've got the evidence in hand to put him in jail. I have no idea whether that's crossed, anybody's truly considering that. I just wouldn't know.
Right, but in terms of Trump's motive for taking these documents out in the first place, that we've discussed that he wants to monetize these secrets and use them for blackmail. Why would he take the file on Macron, for example, the president of France?
Well, that's a good question. I can speculate that that they probably got into, this is just total speculation. One of his colleagues, they got into his cell phone. Macron has, could they destroy Macron? Look, he did not steal a file on Macron that simply, is analysis of French politics, who he is, what he is. Trump wouldn't understand it. He wouldn't take it. But there's some damning piece of evidence that he could either help or destroy Macron in that file. That would be a good bet.
And then in terms of Mohammed bin Salman, we know that Jared Kushner got $2 billion gift from him against the advice of the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund. Is that some kind of payoff? We know that Trump is now working with the Saudis on a golf tour in competition with the PGA.
Well, of course it is. I mean, Mohammed bin Salman has at his fingertips the best financial managers in the world. Why would he take somebody like Jared Kushner, who's nothing about money management, and hand him $2 billion unless it were a flat-out bribe? Come on, there's no other explanation. Mohammed bin Salman, they've got offices in New York, their sovereign wealth fund, which are very profitable. So why would you go to an amateur and let him run a fund? I have to assume that Kushner or somebody went to the Saudis and say, hey, guys, get off WhatsApp because we just caught you chopping up Khashoggi. Maybe you could use Proton or whatever they told them. I don't know what Americans listen to, Signal or the rest of it, or some other, a device, but just get off this stuff. And so I bet you anything that our intelligence on Trump's friends, whether Putin or Mohammed bin Salman, is zero now because of them.
Well,
that's just that's safe speculation. What can I tell you?
I know, but as I say, this guy's been one step ahead of the sheriff all his business life and his political life, for what it's worth, and he's caused so much trouble, and he's still dividing this country and exacerbating the divisions. And you even said that he's encouraging civil war, and that's exactly Vladimir Putin's playbook. I mean, this is the gift that keeps on giving. Trump is the perfect instrument to divide and weaken America, and yet so many people in this country admire him for reasons which are absolutely mystifying. But this is a comment on us as well as everything else, right? How did we get this far? How did we end up with a career criminal and a traitor in the White House? Go figure.
Ian, I can find you people on the far right who at least don't work for other governments. So I don't understand it. There's some sort of cult going on here which we can't comprehend.
Well, Robert Baer, I thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thanks.
And again, I've been speaking with Robert Baer, one of the most accomplished agents in CIA history and the winner of the Career Intelligence Medal. He's the author of 4 New York Times bestsellers, including Sleeping with the Devil, How Washington Sold Our Soul for Saudi Crude, and he's considered one of the world's foremost authorities on the Middle East and is an intelligence and national security affairs analyst for CNN. And his latest book is The Fourth Man, The Hunt for a KGB Spy at the Top of the CIA and the Rise of